I am a fan of Ryan Murphy, but after watching All's Fair, I have to say he's giving me white Tyler Perry vibes. And I don't mean that as a compliment. Now, I don't mean that to say I don't like Ryan Murphy's work, and not that I don't like Tyler Perry's work, but lately some of their stuff is like more for shock value than real storytelling. My favorite shows of Ryan Murphy are Nip Tuck, Glee, American Horror Story. I have several that I love that Ryan Murphy did. However, All's Fair, I'm going to put at the bottom. He has done so much better than this. I don't know where this one came from. Now, my biggest problem with All's Fair is that it framed itself as some feminist empowerment show, but really it was there for shock value. It wasn't given feminism, at least when you go a little bit deeper, and you don't have to go that deep, honestly. Now, of course, I'm going to come with some receipts, and I want to start off with Niecy Nash's character, Emerald. Emerald is their principal investigator. She's gorgeous. She's empowered. She chose to have 3 sons on her own. She went to a sperm bank, I think, and had these 3 kids because she decided she does not need a man to start her family if she wants a family. And she supported them all on her own. I think they said they all became millionaires, like every one of the partners. So she's a millionaire all on her own, supporting her 3 sons, and they're successful. She's doing the dang thing as a single mom. However, I hate where her story went, and actually it's one of the reasons why I had to stop watching the show. When she finally decides she's ready to go out and date, she is assaulted by someone she met at a party. She wakes up and this man is taunting her. He's texting her, doing some psychological warfare. And turns out he did this to get to one of the other partners, Glenn Close's character, because he had beef with her over some case with his father. Now, how they handled this assault, I don't mind this storyline. I hate how they handled it. She, as the principal investigator, should have been given the opportunity to go find this man and get justice for herself. Sure, she could have struggled psychologically because, she's traumatized, understandably, but she doesn't even get the opportunity, and no one else in the firm offers to help her out either. This guy just ends up dead. I was like, what the heck is this? Like, what was the point of this storyline? Honestly, what was the point of the storyline? To let her shut herself off from the world again? She decides she didn't want to date. Then she starts questioning, did her sons do it? Are they the ones that killed him? And that would have been an interesting storyline. All 3 sons denied it. I don't know if it's true because, like I said, I stopped watching. But it's just so mishandled. I just couldn't get into it. And honestly, killing her abuser off screen just removed her agency so much. And I was like, what the heck is the point of the show? Where is her taking her autonomy into her own hands and seeking justice for herself and stopping this guy from doing this to someone else? What was the point of this whole storyline? Anyway, let's move on to the next person because I could go on and on about her storyline and it's not going to be pleasant. Now, I did not want to get into Kim Kardashian's character, Allura, but as one of the primary people in the show, I have to. She cannot act at this point in time, or at least when this was filmed. And I've been seeing so many mean comments about how people are saying she did this just so she can feel like a lawyer. Y'all are grimy for saying that. You know you are. However, if you're gonna go put yourself in multiple, because this is not her only show she's done, in multiple works, dramatic works, I need you to take an acting class because Allura was going through some hardships. Her storyline, I want to say, is the most fleshed out of all of the characters. And the look on Kim's face every time is just bored. She goes through so much emotional turmoil and you can't even really tell because of her facial expressions. She looks bored in every single one. She just looks down every once in a while. And that's how you know she's disturbed. Mind you, she finds out her husband of like 5 years is cheating on her with her assistant. That should have had like an anger reaction. Even if she didn't want to get angry visibly, there's other ways to show a character is upset. Maybe she starts failing at her job. She starts looking a little a little less put together. None of that happened. Then she finds out her husband cheated with other women, and it's thrown in her face that she cannot have kids, and he wants kids. That should have hit her deep. This is something apparently her character has wanted for years and has invested a lot of money harvesting her eggs to want. Now, when they start battling it out, right? She knows she may lose the eggs, so she implants them in herself and she loses the embryos. You would think we would see a tear or two or something, but nothing. Her face is just blank. And I cannot stand it. Out of all of the characters, I feel like Ryan Murphy put the most work into her storyline, and the person you picked to play her cannot deliver. It was aggravating to watch. She's supposed to be strategically intelligent. She's supposed to be sexually confident. She's supposed to be the ideal woman, and yet she has no emotion. And people think you need to remove all emotion from a woman to make her strong. Not necessarily. She is supposed to feel. She is a human, but she is also supposed to persevere and conquer in order to be that strong woman. And I just was not getting that from her. Ugh, it was terrible. Now, I love Sarah Paulson. Literally everything I've seen her in, I'm like, damn. The insults that came out of her mouth in this show, I always had to look away. Like I witnessed it in person and I was feeling secondhand embarrassment. But Sarah Paulson's character, I was all for her rage and how she felt left behind by her female colleagues when they left their original firm and started a business without her. Holding on to that for like a decade or something is OD, but whatever, it's her feelings. What issue I had with her, and maybe this is a bit too nuanced for me to understand in this stage of my life, she, like Niecy Nash's character, decided to have a child, right? She has this child with a man she knows is gay. Cool. This is something you both understood, you wanted, and you two were friends, had this child. She ended up having beef with her friend's husband, and because of that, she revoked access to their shared child for years. How grimy is that? Just because you're not with this man, just because he's not, I was like baffled. He should have fought her for custody. If she wanted to be petty, he should have been petty too. But he was a bigger person. This man who you've claimed was your best friend at a certain point in time, because of a minor beef with his husband, you take your shared daughter away from him. And you resurface years later after you realize your daughter is struggling and you can't help her. So inherently, you're selfish. You resurface not for his benefit, or truly not even for the daughter's benefit, but because you didn't know how to handle a situation. And at this same point, she's spiraling in the workplace too, because she realizes her personal life sucks. So she's spiraling in the workplace. And that's when she decides to reach out to him, because she also needs her best friend back. I was pissed. My petty brain was like, he needs to revoke his own access to himself from her, but that's his kid. He missed her. He wanted to get back in her life. My God, the storylines of this show were just throwing me for a loop. And the last person I want to talk about is Teyana Taylor's character. Now, forgive me for forgetting all the characters' names because I can't keep up. But Teyana Taylor's character is in law school. She admires Allura, Kim Kardashian's character, and kind of has her as a mentor. She even offered to host her for studying for the LSATs, and my God, she decides she is going to sleep with her husband. Right. And apparently this affair had been going on for a long time. So you work in the workplace with the woman, you see her often, get career advice from her, spending hours studying for that thing, and you're sleeping with her husband on the side. And then you get pregnant. The audacity. And Allura, once again, did not have the emotional reaction I was expecting. Instead, as the episodes go on, she decides she low-key is gonna co-parent. Maybe she didn't say this out loud, but her behavior is showing she wants to co-parent this oops baby with Teyana Taylor's character. She's buying her stuff for the nursery. She's like offering to go to appointments with her. I was like, girl, I understand you feel some type of way you can't have a kid, but recognize that this woman blatantly betrayed you. You can't blame it all on the man. She was trying to say, oh, he manipulated you, etc., etc. Sure, he had some part, but she did too. She was your friend. She was your employee. She was your mentee. And she willfully slept with your husband several times. Disgusting behavior. Now, each episode has its own case, and one of the cases that really had me side-eyeing them was where this woman was being kicked out of her home by her husband because he found out she cheated on him after they were married for more than 30, 40 years, right? And he was like, you're not leaving this house with anything. She signed a prenup. She's like, you're going on the streets. I understood his emotions. You've been together forever, and he never cheated on her. Most of the other cases involved some malfeasance from the man, right? The way they handled this, and I feel like this is purposeful storytelling, they tried to make us sympathize with the cheating wife. And the way they did this was by saying he's too busy to hang out with her. He doesn't look at her the same. So she felt like she had to cheat. I never subscribed to that. Never. If you feel like you have to cheat, leave the person. If you feel like your partner doesn't want you anymore, leave them. Don't cheat on them. Because this man was so hurt. He was ready to throw his wife out on the streets. And he still loved her. That's why his reaction was so extreme. Out of all the men in the show, I felt bad for this man, and I hated the way they tried to make me see her side of things and co-sign that cheating was okay just because he looked at her a little bit differently. Do something to re-spark your marriage. I've been married. I've never been married, but after 30, 40 years, y'all better work it out. Get him some glasses so he can see you clearly or something. I don't know. But anyway, that was my review of the show and why I had to stop watching, because I was getting annoyed. I was getting upset. But let me know how you guys felt about it. Did you finish the show? What was your favorite episode? Maybe I'm getting something wrong. Maybe I'm missing some big, huge theme about the show. So feel free to correct me politely in the comments. And don't forget to follow.